Hi everybody, welcome to the Lord of the Reads. So in today's video we're going to be doing my May TBR game for TBingoR. And I'm currently filming this on May 1st, so we're getting a bit of a late start in this. But that's okay. I guess I should probably tell you how I did in April. That kind of explains why this is being filmed so late. So these were books that I had to read in April, plus The House in the Cerulean Sea. So out of these books, I have The Lost Hero, City of Ghosts, The Wishing Spell, and The House in the Cerulean Sea finished, and then Strange the Dreamer is started, and like 100 pages through. Under the Green Hill has not been started. So, I'm only counting this one as being the only book that really I didn't get to, because this one is already being moved over into May because it's not done yet. So, if punishment does come up, then Under the Green Hill will be added, because everything else is either done or started. So that is how I did in April. So for read-alongs, there are 2 books that I need to get to in the month of May that I will try to put on my May TBR. If not, I'll just have to read that on top of the 6 books that I picked for TBingoR. So the first one is Tristan Strong Punches a Hole in the Sky by... I can't pronounce that name. And this is for Middle Grade Monthly, hosted by Gavin at How to Train Your Gavin and Jade at JD Reads. So I'm going to try to get to this one in May. If not, then I'm going to add it on to the 6 books that I get. I would also like to get to Muse of Nightmares by Leonie Taylor. This is for Strange Along, hosted by Maddie at Book Browsing Blog. This is when I finish Strange the Dreamer. So Strange the Dreamer was the April book. This is the sequel for May, is when this one's supposed to be read. So depending on whether I finish Strange the Dreamer soon will depend on when I get to this one. So also like to get this one on. If not, then this will also be added onto the 6 books of my TBingoR. So yes, that is all I have for read-alongs. So now we can go into the first spin, or putting my piece on the card in the free space. But if you have not watched my TBR game, then I will link the whole playlist in the description so you can catch yourself up on the rules, because I'm not going to try to explain it again. Rules have gotten very complicated because I keep adding more. So I'm just going to put the whole playlist in the description so that you can just watch and familiarize yourself with how it's played. So with that, we can go ahead and get into the game. Okay, so let's begin by putting a piece on the free space for a book of my choice. Okay, so book of my choice. So I recently picked this one up from the library, and I've been meaning to read it. It is We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Faisal? I don't know how to pronounce that name. That's probably something similar to it. Anyway, this book, I know nothing about what it's about, except that it is supposed to be a mixture between the Lord of the Rings and the Arabian Nights. And I loved Lord of the Rings, my favorite book ever, and love the Arabian Nights. So I can't wait to get to this one. As soon as I heard that it was like the Lord of the Rings, I knew I had to read it. So when I found out my library had it, I'm like, yes, this is going on my TBR as soon as possible. So, first book on my May TBR. Okay, so let's start with the first spin. And it is B13, which is not on the board, so we can pick a random prompt with no specific genre, and it is a book between 300 and 350 pages. Okay, so first spin, 300 to 350 pages. Now, I scoured through all the books that I really wanted to read, and they were all below 300 or above 350. So, we're going to give this another shot. Under the Green Hill by Laura L. Sullivan. This is, how many pages? Yeah, 308. So, in between 300 and 350. So, it is about these group of children. They go to live with their grandparents, great-grandparents, something like that. And they go on a 7th summer. And every 7th summer, the fairies come out and they pick a fairy champion, and they want to fight against a human champion, and they want the oldest boy to be the human champion that their fairy champion has to fight against. If he says yes, then he will most likely die. If he says no, then the fairies will wage war on the human world. So, interesting premise. I just have to get to it. So, we're going to try it again. And it's my second book on my May TBR. Okay, let's go for the second spin. G49. That is also not on the board, so we can pick another random prompt with no specific genre. A booktube favorite. Okay, so this is second spin. So a booktube favorite, and for that I picked Rune and Rising by Leigh Bardugo. Rune and Rising is the third book, the final book in the Shadow and Bone trilogy. So I've been trying to make my way through the Grishaverse. This is the third book in the first trilogy of that world. So the first book follows a girl, and she lives in a country, and in the world there are people that can summon different elements and use them. And in this place there is a thing called a fold, and it's a place of darkness. But it's right in between countries, so that if this country wants to trade with other countries, they have to go through it. And the main character, Alina, has to go through it, and something happens while she's in it, and people think that she has a rare ability that has either never been had or has not been had in a very long time. I love the first two books. I flew through them, so very excited to put this one on as my third book on my May TBR. Okay. Let's go for the third spin. It is B14. That is also not on the board. So random prompt, no specific genre. It is a gifted book. So for the third spin, fourth book, third spin. It is a gifted book. So for that, I'm going to do Big Red by Jim... some other last name. Once again, I think we're seeing a pattern here in this month of names that I do not know how to pronounce and that I did not have the forethought to look up in advance. So, this one was gifted to me by my uncle. So, thank you for that. I'm very excited to get to this one. So from what I've read, actually I can just read to you the front little insert so you can see. It says, Danny knows at a glance that the big Irish setter is the dog he has always dreamed of, but Big Red is a champion, and Danny is only a trapper's son who lives in a cabin on the mountain. Still, Red's owner knows quality in a boy as in a dog, and Danny is given the job of teaching the thoroughbred show dog the ways of the woods. So, it sounds like it's going to be a cute book, and the cover and the design is amazing. Underneath the dust jacket, like, yes. So, yeah, we're going to give this one a try in May as my fourth book on my TBR. Very excited about this. Okay, for the fourth spin. O64. That is also not on the board. So random prompt, a specific genre. A large book. Okay, so next book. It is a large book. That's what the prompt was. So, a large book, Son of Neptune by Rick Riordan. A large book, I say, is like over 500 pages. This is like 513. Yeah, 513. So, a big book. A very big book. But I can't wait to finish or continue this series. So, the first book, The Lost Hero, that I read last month, follows a boy who wakes up on a bus and he doesn't remember who he is or anything about his surroundings. And basically it follows the Roman pantheon and the children of the Roman gods. So, I can't wait to do this one. Lost Hero was amazing. I want to say that I liked it better than the original Percy Jackson series. So, I can't wait to get to this one. Yeah, so, very excited. A fun middle grade. I mean, it's large, but hopefully I can get through it quickly. So, this will be the fifth book on my May TBR. And for the last spin, it is N43, which is also not on the board. So, another random prompt with no specific genre. One word title. Okay, so last book for my May TBR, it is Winter by Marissa Meyer. One word title. So, yes. This is the last book in the series, besides a few short novellas, but of the main novel series, this is the end of it. I've been waiting for it for months and months and months, and my library finally got it in. I can't wait. So, the first book follows a girl named Cinder, and she is a cyborg and a mechanic, and she gets swept into this big plot after she meets the Prince of New Beijing, because this world happens after some apocalyptic setting. And they had to build everything from the top. So she's in New Beijing. She meets the prince and gets swept into this big plot and meets all kinds of new people. So these are retellings. Cinder is a retelling of Cinderella. Then Scarlet is a retelling of Red Riding Hood. Cress is retelling of Rapunzel. And Winter is the retelling of Snow White. So I can't wait to get to this one. I looked at the page count after I picked it, and these pages must be extremely thin because this book is 827 pages. So, it's a very large book, and this will be my last book of my 6 books on my TBR in May. So, definitely, probably the book on this list that I'm the most excited for. So, can't wait for this. Okay, so that was my May TBR game. So I'm very excited about my TBR. This is what it looks like. It's quite large because we've got, I want to say 3 books that are over 500 pages. And then these 3 that are kind of smaller but really not. I think they're all like over 300 pages. So this is a pretty daunting TBR. However, after looking at all of these, I realized that I also have to read this, which I think is close to 400 pages, and I also did not get, oh gosh, Muse of Nightmares on there, which is like over 500 pages. So, this is 8 books. It's starting to fall, so I'm going to set this down. So, that's going to be it. This is going to be a lot of reading to do in May. And considering that I still have to finish Strange the Dreamer before I can start any of this, means that I'm probably setting myself up for failure just by, you know, having this monstrosity to deal with. So, okay, I'm gonna call this video quits and so I can get this off my lap. So, I will see you in my next video. I really hope you enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and let me know what you plan on reading in the month of May and if it's as big as this. So, with that, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.